Today, our group will be present about Geotechnical case study, which is about collapsed building in Malaysia. Before that, I will introduce my group mate. My name is Rian Arina Wong, cut matrix 07DKA23F1050. Foundation is one of the first critical elements in constructions. The foundations are critical to the structural integrity of any buildings. They distribute the load to the underlying soil to ensuring stability and preventing issues like differential settlement, which could lead to the structural failure if not properly managed. But before we laying the foundations, we need to do some steps, which is to do the site preparation, soil testing, and excavations. Type of foundations. Type of foundations have two, which is shallow foundations and deep foundations. Shallow foundation is for lighter structure on suitable soil, and for deep foundations is suitable for heavy loads and weak soil. For shallow foundations have two, which is strip foundations and pad foundations. Strip foundations is to support the load-bearing walls and are cost-effective for low-rise buildings. For pad foundations, used for columns and typically seen in buildings with isolate columns. For deep foundations, also spread into two, which is pile foundations and caisson foundations. Pile foundations is to transmit loads to deeper, stable layers, often required for high-rise buildings or in areas with poor surface soil. For caisson foundations, similar to piles but larger in diameter, used with high load capacity are required.
Now we move along to influencing factors. My name is Nurhadijah binti Abentin, matrix number 07DKA23F1008. One of the influencer factors is soil characteristic. The soil type, bearing capacity, and moisture content are really critical in determining foundation type and depth. Other than that, load requirements. The expected weight and use of the structure guide the foundation strength and dimensioning. And lastly, water table level. Because of how foundations are really weak to water, if the design does not have waterproofing and additional stabilization methods, this could weaken the foundation design. Hence, these factors are really important for us to remember in order for the foundation to be strong.
Importance of design and constructions. First is prevent excessive settlement, structural damage, and instability. Second is enhance the buildings, safety, durability, and longevity.
Greetings, my name is Norin Adila Stephen, and my metric number is 07DKA23F1092. And I would like to talk about the Highland Tower collapse for our first case study. In 11 December 1993 in Taman Hillview, Ulu Klang, Selangor, Malaysia, involved the complete failure of Block 1 of the condominium complex, resulting in 48 fatalities. The cause was foundation failure, exacerbated by a landslide and inadequate drainage. Rainwater accumulation led to soil erosion and waterlogging due to poor drainage. This added stress on the building, causing uneven settlement and failure in key structural elements, ultimately leading to the building's collapse. The Highland Tower collapse impacted both environment and society. It highlights how human activities like deforestation and inadequate drainage system like poor water management can destabilize natural land, especially on hillsides. When trees are removed, the soil becomes loose, increasing the risk of landslides because there are no roots to hold the soil in place. This incident shows why hillside construction needs careful regulation to protect both the environment and surrounding communities, emphasizing the need for strict environmental laws to prevent similar disasters. For the society, the collapse was a tragedy, taking 48 lives and deeply impacting the public. The death and destruction led to widespread anger, pushing for change. Because of this disaster, the government and society started demanding better building safety standards and holding developers accountable. New regulations were introduced to ensure that builders and engineers follow safer construction practices, especially especially in areas prone to natural risks like landslide, aiming to prevent future incidents. We have analyzed the cause of the failure, one of them being the soil erosion and deforestation. The hillside where the towers were built had trees that helped hold the soil in place. But when these trees were cleared for nearby construction projects, the soil became loose and more vulnerable to erosion. Next, inadequate drainage. The drainage system on the hillside wasn't good enough. During heavy rainfall, a drainage pipe burst, causing water to flood on the hillside. This water weakened the soil even more, making it prone to sliding down. The excess water added extra pressure to the soil, which led to a landslide. Lastly, the foundation of the towers wasn't strong enough to cope with the unstable soil and the extra water that came with the flooding. Foundations are supposed to support the weight of the building, but in this case, the design wasn't built to handle such conditions. The unstable soil and the flooding weakened the foundation, causing the retaining walls, which hold back the soil, and the pier foundation, the support under the building, to fail. This contributed to the collapse of the tower.
Hi, my name is Siti Nurizatul Irma binti Zainal, matrix number 07DKA23F1080. For the second case, it's about Jaya Supermarket. Jaya Supermarket collapse occurred on 28 May 2009 in Petaling Jaya, Malaysia during demolition of all supermarket building to make way for a new development. However, errors in demolition procedures led to the sudden collapse. The demolition crew did not follow a proper safety or adopt a gradual floor-by-floor approach, create an imbalanced structural, resulting 7 workers' fatalities. The investigation revealed that the main cause of the failure is improper demolition. The impact of the failure. The Jaya Supermarket had a notable impact on both environment and society. Environmentally, the sudden collapse led to generation of large debris. The sudden release of dust into the surrounding temporarily affected their local air quality, posing health risks for nearby residents. Additionally, the noise disrupted nearby businesses and homes around the site. For societal impact, the incident caused several workers' fatalities, create a lasting impression on the community and the nation. Also led to public outcry for stricter safety oversight. Next, it sparked debates between worker safety, regulatory enforcement, and equitability in the construction industry. This push for reforms in Malaysia's construction safety standard to prevent future accidents. The analysis of the cause of the failure. The main cause of the failure is improper demolition. The building was not dismantled floor by floor as required for safety, instead taken down by large chunks, create an imbalance to the load distribution that compromised the foundation. This put too much pressure on foundation, accelerating its failure. Second, lack of safety measures. A lack of safety protocol on site, including poor supervision, allowed structural risks to go unnoticed, exposing regulatory gaps that contributed to the tragedy. Lastly, overestimated structural strength. The building may have weakened over the decades due to original structural built on 1970s, making it less stable during the demolition.
Now we move on to the comparison for both of these cases. For the cause of failure, the Highland Towers collapsed due to foundation failure that was influenced by landslide, caused by heavy rainfall, deforestation, and poor drainage. Meanwhile, the Jaya Supermarket collapsed due to improper demolition practices and inadequate safety measures. The absence of floor-by-floor demolition and overestimation of structural stability led to an unbalanced load comprising the foundation. For environmental impact, Because of the collapse of the Highland Towers, the landslide destabilized the area and underscoring the risk of unregulated hillside development. Meanwhile, because of the collapse of the Jaya supermarket, this caused a temporary disruption in air quality and noise pollution in densely populated Petaling Jaya. And lastly, the impact on construction regulation. The Highland Towers collapse revealed gaps in Malaysia's hillside development and drainage regulations, prompting stricter building codes for hillside and flood-prone areas. Meanwhile, the Jaya supermarket collapse led to a reassessment of demolition safety practices, highlighting the need for strict protocols and enforcement, resulting in tighter regulations for demolition across Malaysia. In conclusion, the Highland Towers and Jaya supermarket collapse revealed a serious weaknesses in safety regulations within Malaysia's construction industry. These disasters caused tragic loss of life and suffering, highlighting the need for stricter safety standards. Moving forward, it is crucial for industry professionals to prioritize safety and improve training to prevent similar incidents.